So let's take a look at Chapter 14, nutrients that promote growth and regulate body functions like proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water. So first let's focus on the term growth. Growth is the result of an increase in the number of cells, an increase in the size of cells. For example, infants double their birth weight in 6 months and triple it by the end of the first year. Proteins are composed of amino acids, and on page 359, figure 14.1, on page 359, we can see, let me look for it just a second, page 359. You can see the percentages, how protein is distributed in the body. And on the right of that, it talks about proteins as a building block and the different amino acids. There are non-essential elements that the body can produce on their own. And that just means that we can produce our own. We don't have to get it from food. And then there are essential amino acids that must come from food. There are either complete or incomplete proteins. So complete programs or complete proteins yield all of the essential amino acids, usually coming from an animal source like eggs, meat, and dairy. And then there are incomplete proteins that are lacking one or more essential amino acids, usually plant-based like beans, corn, and nuts, that have to be combined with another incomplete protein in order to form a more complete protein. And so incomplete proteins can be combined to provide all of the essential amino acids. And so you have to find complementary proteins. 2 or more incomplete proteins, when combined, form a complete protein like beans and rice, or a peanut butter sandwich with the peanut butter and the bread, the grain in the bread. Or supplementary proteins, an incomplete protein plus a small amount of complete protein like macaroni and cheese, egg salad sandwich. Plant-based diets may include some animal-based products, and you can find more information about that on page 360 and 361. There are different types of plant-based vegetarian diets. For example, the lacto-ovo, which is vegetarians that include milk, dairy, and eggs in their diet, or lacto-vegetarian that include only milk and dairy. Ovo-vegetarian, which includes only eggs, and then vegan, which includes no animal-based products, including honey or gelatin. And on page 361, you can read about what kinds of foods vegetarians need to eat to make sure they get the critical nutrients that are required. And that can be quite challenging. So proteins as regulators. Proteins are involved in a variety of regulatory processes such as energy metabolism, fluid distribution, hormone production like insulin, which regulates body function. So how much protein is needed? Well, here's a chart that tells us age and or gender, and then the amount of protein needed. So for infants and children, it tends to be the same no matter the gender. For example, infants 0 to 6 months need 9.1 grams per day. Children 4 to 8 need 19 grams per day. And then males over 18 need 56 grams per day. And females over 18 need 46 grams per day. So then vitamins. Vitamins are needed in small amounts. And so they're needed in milligrams, which is 1/1000th of a gram, or micrograms, which are abbreviated mcg or pg, which is 1/1,000,000th of a gram, and milligrams is represented by mg. And so if you go to table 14.3 on page 364 to 365, you can see the different doses depending on the vitamins. Large doses of some vitamins can be toxic, such as vitamin D, and vitamins are classified as water-soluble or fat-soluble. So water-soluble vitamins are not stored in the body and must be consumed every day, and there's a large number of those. Vitamin C, for example, vitamin B6 and B12. And fat-soluble vitamins are stored in the body and can be toxic if consumed in large supplemental doses, such as vitamin A and vitamin D that we mentioned earlier. So vitamins support growth. They support DNA and RNA production. They support cell division, bone and blood formation. Vitamins are also involved in regulating body functions like bone development, energy metabolism, and neuromuscular function. So should children take vitamin supplements? Families should always check first with their child's physician. Vitamin supplements provide small amounts of many vitamins, but not always in the amounts required. For example, only 10% of a child's calcium requirement may be met with a vitamin supplement. This may give parents false assurances that the children's intake is adequate. So should they take vitamin supplements? They may be helpful for some children who are picky eaters. Essential nutrients such as protein and fiber accompany the vitamins found in food sources but are absent in supplements. So minerals. Minerals do not provide energy. They are inorganic substances that are only needed in very small amounts. But they're essential for building our body tissues like bone, teeth, and blood, regulating body functions like metabolism and neuromuscular function. And what minerals are required for healthy bone and teeth formation? Calcium and phosphorus. And what food sources provide these? You can find that on page 369 of your textbook. So calcium. Most children today do not get enough calcium in their diet. And what factors can be contributing to this? It can be the cost of food, food insufficiencies. It could be diets that may restrict dairy products with the false assumption that dairy products are not good for children. Unless there is an allergy, if you look below, milk provides 2%. Milk provides 297 milligrams of calcium, whereas soy milk, 1 cup of soy milk, only provides 9.8 milligrams. And so you could see if you're just drinking soy milk, it's going to be very difficult to get the large requirements for calcium for growing children. The closest thing to what milk and cheese provide is spinach. 1 cup of spinach provides 245 milligrams of calcium. So factors that increase the absorption of dietary calcium would be making sure you get an adequate intake of vitamin C and vitamin D. And factors that decrease the absorption of dietary calcium are taking too large of a dose of calcium, having too much fiber in your diet, and a high intake of protein in the diet. So iron plays a critical role in the formation of blood cells. Inadequate iron can contribute to iron deficiency anemia, which reduces the ability of the body to carry oxygen and can slow growth. Dietary iron is not well absorbed by the body. Iron absorption is improved when vitamin C is present in a meal. So vitamin C can promote the absorption of calcium and iron. Water plays important roles in the body. It replaces fluid, it regulates temperature, and it builds body tissue. A child's need for water is influenced by the environmental temperature, their body surface, and their activity levels.